This episode of Practicing Human 360 Health is sponsored by my wellness clinic, Star Treatment, in Henfield in Sussex. I offer IV vitamin drips, B12 shots and advanced facials, all designed to make you feel and look your absolute best. Check me out on Instagram, StarTreatment24. My name is Emma Easterbrook and this is Practicing Human 360 Health. My guest today is Billie Jean Laidlaw. She describes herself as an artistically tall person. Is that right? A tall artistic person.
A tall artistic person.
She is so super qualified. She has a master's in fine art. She has a BA honours in fine art and painting.
Yeah.
She trained to be a fitness instructor.
Lapsed.
What else do you do? Oh, she's a web designer.
Singer.
She's a singer. We'll get onto that.
Yeah. We used to be in a band together.
And she is also a really good mate of mine. She describes herself as a Manxophile, which I had to look up, which we're going to go into in a minute. And also the other one was about forbose.
Queen
of forbose, which I also looked up that word because literally went like that from Crawley. Do you know what I mean? So that's where we're at. I just want to say, when I was creating this podcast, when I had the idea of doing it, she was at the top of my list. She's my number one that I absolutely wanted to have. So it's taken a little while to get her, but I screwed her down, so she actually had to come. But she gave me this book a couple of years ago on my birthday, and she had it inscribed, and it says Aquarius because we're both Aquarians, which we'll get onto in a minute because we've got an opinion about that as well.
Oh yeah.
And it's got my name on it, and it's got beautiful thoughts. And I just want to read you the first page of what I wrote in there.
I've not seen this before. This is news
No,
to
you
me.
haven't. So yes, exactly. I thought I'd leave it as a little surprise for you. Don't start crying or anything.
Oh well, I can't guarantee.
So 26th of January 2023, Billie gave me this book and a birthday card with my head on Superwoman's body because she says that I am Superwoman. I feel such love for her. She is recovering from cancer and is Superwoman herself to me. We have such interesting and thoughtful chats and a deep understanding of each other. I'm blessed to be able to call her my friend.
Oh, bless you, darling.
There you go.
Oh, I did literally tear up then.
Yeah, IRL, in real life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I am a softlar, absolutely.
So, right, okay, first things first. Can you describe what a Manxophile is to everyone that's listening, please?
Well, I probably spelt it wrong.
Is that how you pronounce it? I don't even know.
One of the things I said on there was bad speller because I am the worst, just dyslexic bad speller there is known to this planet. And I put on there Manxophile. I thought
I might have not read it right. So anyway, yeah, it's a two-way thing.
We're both
special.
Special. We're very special. Yes, special. Manxophile only because my adopted home, the Isle of Man, is absolutely. I'm so fascinated by that island. It's so beautiful. It is. Most people get it confused with the Isle of Wight, which it absolutely is nothing like the Isle of Wight. Not to diss the Isle of Wight.
Give us a bit of geography.
Right. So it's in between Ireland, Northern Ireland, and the kind of the border with Scotland and England. So it's really high up. And it's in a channel.
Is that why you have red hair?
No, it's out of a box, darling. But anyway, apart from that, so we've got the Isle of Man plonked. It takes 4 hours on a boat to get to it. So it's pretty hard work to get to, unless you want to fly, and then that's easy peasy. But it is the most beautiful place. It's magical. It's got so much myth and folklore. The Manx people are incredible. I went there when I was very young, and I grew up, went to school there, and basically every tiny little thing that reminds me of the Isle of Man, I'm absolutely obsessed with. The mountains, the folklore, I even have like a really tacky 70s like Manx cat badge that I quite often wear, even now at my grand old age. And I go back there as soon as I have a moment, as often as I can to see my family. And that's why I'm a Manxophile obsessed with the Isle of Man.
No, I've learnt something new. I thought you were born there.
No, I wasn't born there.
So where were you born?
Well, yes, you're gonna out me now on camera, aren't you?
Oh,
it's
God.
Something that this.
Are you an Essex girl?
I was born in Croydon.
Not far away from where I was born then.
So hilarious. I was born in Mayday Hospital in Croydon. I don't remember Croydon. But, you know, you can't take the Croydon out of a girl, really, can you?
Yeah.
I think that's maybe why we bond on so many different levels.
You know, Grant, you obviously know my
Yeah.
husband, Grant. He says that you can take the girl out of Crawley, but you can't take Crawley out of the girl.
It sounds all sorts of wrong.
And I just say, quite often, I would just then put my finger up at him and I'll say, fuck off. Anyway, it's just me.
I genuinely feel Manx. I do genuinely feel Manx. But I have this dark secret that I was born in Croydon.
Oh, right, okay. Well, no, it's out there now.
It's out there now.
It's out there now.
Yeah,
Everyone knows. So
yeah.
you're not actually from there. You're just a Croydon girl, really,
I am
aren't you?
really, yeah. Genetics.
So what makes, so you say it's quite sort of mythical, and you know, how big is the island? I don't even know.
It's not big at all. And don't ask me to quote the miles. I don't know.
Square footage,
I don't know.
please.
You can walk around it. That's all I can say. It probably most famous for things like the TT, which is a motor racing circuit on the Isle of Man, it's. I can't believe I can't tell you the dimensions. You know, I don't even know if it's bigger or smaller than the Isle of Wight.
I'm very disappointed.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry. Like, cut. Like, finish now. Like, you can't give me the size.
Sorry.
But what
I would usually just look that up.
Okay, right. The other thing that really interests me about you is how does a girl on the Isle of Man become a punk?
I don't know. I think I fell in with the right crew. That's that's the answer. You know, it's like there was. I really remember at school there was. I was just walking down the corridor and I saw these two punk guys, and actually it was my friend Carl and my friend Tony, and I thought, whoa. Those guys, they look super cool. Yeah, they will be my friends.
Whether they like it or not.
I like them. I was already friends with quite a few people who had alternative ways of thinking. We were the kind of odd bunch, the bunch that, you know, at school, you know the type.
Yeah.
We were like...
That was me.
Round the back with the fags and the attitude.
Yes.
And yeah, I just kind of got drawn towards the music as well. So I've always been a huge Nick Cave fan, loved the Birthday Party, the Boys Next Door. And that kind of the music along with the attitude just sort of drew me in. And I've always really identified with the outsiders.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of a theme in my art. It's a theme in my life that I always identify and feel most at home with people who are a little bit out on the edge of things. And punk and post-punk kind of really kind of fitted that attitude, and I felt really comfortable with those people who were willing to break rules, who were willing to go, actually that boundary is there, but you know, quite frankly, fuck that boundary. I'm going to be over the edge of that boundary, and that again is a theme in my work, looking at boundaries, social boundaries. I mean, you know, you and I, we both like a little bit skeptical about boundaries, really, and. For me, that is really fundamental, really, a fundamental. So to explain what I mean, one of my pieces of work I did recently was when I say recently, it was probably about 3 years ago now, but I took the door off our house. So I took the door off our house to quite literally explore boundaries, to explore what it is. We have a physical boundary of our door up and
so the front
house.
door.
The front
just
door,
to be clear, yeah,
the front door. I took it physically off. I installed the front door in a gallery, and I filmed what would happen when people approached our house. So we would get postmen come, and the postman would say, hello, there's no door, and then the first time he came, he put our post on the doormat and went and walked away. The second day he was a bit bolder and he went, all right, this is the door, no door, house, okay, fine, fair enough, and he put the mail a little bit further into the hall, but he still didn't cross the boundary because the door was still in his head. But by the third day, he'd forgotten about the bloody door and he was in the hall. And he walked into the hall and threw the post on the stairs. I was like, this is interesting. So
what other people, I'm really interested in this because we have discussed this, but we've never discussed it at length.
Yeah.
So what other people come to your front door? Like, did people delivering things? Was anyone curious enough to see there wasn't a front door and come up to have a look?
Yeah, well, no, I didn't spot that. However, like friends would they were slightly uncomfortable about what to do. So I had one friend, every time she crossed that boundary where the door would have been, she would dance. So she'd give a little, yes, this is a deliberate action. I'm really just crossing this border. And and then there was another friend who would come in and he'd always like look over his shoulder as he came round. Oh my God, I'm doing something wrong. Someone's going to go, you're not doing this, that's their door. But what was really interesting about that piece of work was at the time I was doing a master's and the legal side of that got all sorts of hairy. So when it came to actually showing it to the public, the lawyers went, no, it's too risky. Because I had my family living in the house at the time with the door was off, like at night. And we were filming it and I was like, I'm down with this because I'm I was quite often downstairs being vigilant and watching the video and watching people interact. But also I was kind of keen that a hedgehog might come in or some kind of wildlife or I don't know. I just thought it was important to let 5 days go by and see what happened. But the legal side of things, they got all sorts of upset and said, what happens if a murderer rushes in and stabs you all in your beds? So we had to, in the end, video it for a period of 24 hours. And so it wasn't a live stream as I wished. It was a video of 24 hours of this process. And then we had to literally block up the door for the remaining 4 days and play the video next to the door in the gallery. So it was a compromise, but on the other hand, with art, you have to compromise because there are lawyers involved in this and there are other galleries involved and they do have risks to manage. And I totally get that. But it was interesting and that became part of the work. It became part of the work that we had to change the work because of the boundaries of society.
I've got one more question about this door thing.
Go on then.
When you sat down to dinner that night and you were sat with Martin, your husband, and you said, I've got this idea and what I'm going to do for this art installation is I'm going to remove our front door. What did he say? Did he just go, oh God, not again, Billie? What crazy thing have you thought of now? What did he say?
Do you know what? I have the most brilliant, wonderful, understanding husband, and thank God, because quite frankly, he has to put up with a lot, poor soul. And I basically often think about art in the morning and often in my bed I will kind of wake up thinking about art, thinking about an idea, thinking about what I want to do. It's almost like that in transition from the subconscious world, and I think we've talked about this. It's a really powerful time. It's a really powerful time, and quite often I design art pieces in that time in the morning. And Martin is incredibly used to being asleep and me going, hey, Martin, I've got this idea.
Goes, oh my God, what now?
And he's half asleep, so he's completely like defenseless. So I can just hit him with it, and he's still half asleep, and he's going, "What are you talking about?" And so I remember pitching this to him and saying, look, I really want to do this piece where I take the door off, and he was like, okay, which door? And I'm like, oh, the front door. And you know what's really funny? And bless him and my daughter Tallulah. They still, every time so when I brought the door back from the gallery and I reinstalled it, it didn't quite fit. So I don't know what had happened in the meantime. Something had happened to the door frame or the door. It didn't want to go back on. It didn't want to go back on. It loved its life in the gallery. It had seen the high life. It wanted to go for it. So it's never fitted back into our home. So every single day of our life, when we try and unlock the door, it doesn't work properly. We have to like jiggle it loads and like pull it and go, oh God, get back into being a door. But
and then Martin comes in, he goes, Billie.
Billie. And like, Tallulah goes, oh Mum. So, but anyway, it's the price you pay for good art. That's what I say.
And then I want you to tell everybody why. Right, so you've got a very interesting name, Billie Jean. Why is it Billie Jean? It's. I remember when I first met you, I said, "Is it after the Michael Jackson?"
I know, yes. No, I'm not. Sadly, named after Michael Jackson's Billie Jean, who isn't my lover, and I don't have his baby either. So it's all a shame, really, isn't it? But no, it's. I'm actually named. My parents, eminently sensible. They went right. My dad is 6'4", and my mum was, I think, about 5'11 and a half or something like that. Both very tall individuals, both very sporty. You know, my dad used to swim for his county. My mum was a very good dancer. And so anyway, they thought very sensibly our daughter is going to be tall and athletic. And actually, I turned out I am tall. I'm very tall. I'm 6 foot, but I would not describe myself as athletic. I'm much more in my brain, in my head, and like to think a little bit academic. But so they
more
named
than a little
me.
bit, by the way.
So they named me after a sports person at the time. It was Billie Jean King, so a tennis player.
She won Wimbledon, did she not?
She did win Wimbledon quite a lot, I believe. And she's also like a really awesome woman. She's like really, she's very girl power, and really ahead of her time. She was in, rights for women, getting good salaries for female tennis players, etc. She's brilliant. So I'm really proud to be named after her. Never picked up a tennis racket, obviously.
And so when we first got to know each other, you introduced yourself as Billie Jean, and I called you Billie Jean for years. And you said to me, you don't have to call me Billie Jean all the time, you can just call me Billie. And now we're at Bill. So.
And that's how it goes in my life. So people quite often will start off at Billie Jean, and then they're let in past a barrier and it becomes Billie. And most people stay in the Billie tag, but only very, very few, like your good self, get to the Bill.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I mean that literally, it's probably 4 people that call me Bill.
Well, I'll tell you what, by the end of our lives, it'll be Buh.
That's slightly like indigestion style, isn't it?
Can you explain, so with your art, do you think that you've always had a continual thread and theme to your art? Is it all connected? Or obviously it evolves as we get older, but how would you describe your art? Because it's quite unusual for people. I'm thinking about the tights thing.
Well, some of my artwork is a little bit. I don't know that many people would want it in their front room. Let's put it that way. Quite a lot of it is a little bit edgy. A lot of it to do, as I said, with social boundaries, or in fact, I'm quite interested in gender boundaries. Or if there even is such a thing as a gender boundary. For me, gender, is a very interesting subject matter, and. What I would say is one of my earliest memories, I'm going to start an hour-long diatribe on, when I was 4, no, I won't do that to you, but one of my first memories is drawing, actually, and I remember really little, I was drawing really like everything I saw that was new. I remember going, I've never seen that beetle before, I'll draw it. That was my first response. So I kind of think that my way of processing is very visual and very and some of your daughters are very, very talented artists as well. And you probably noticed them doing the same.
Yes.
So every time I came across a new creature or a new plant or a new thing in the kitchen, I would just draw it to understand it. It's like it's almost like some people might really be very touchy and they might move objects around in their hands. Are they tactile? Do they smell? What is this thing like? I drew it to understand it, and I think that was always fundamental for me, and it's still the same now. But now I tend to try and understand more abstract concepts and try and understand them through drawing, through making, that, what is this thing? For me, it's a process of understanding and a process of just calculating what's going on with, and it's much more abstract nowadays.
So, for instance, when you did do the tights and the old makeup thing, you created art from those things, didn't you?
Yeah.
So, can you explain to people about that and what the meaning was behind that? First of all, what the art looked like, and then the meaning behind it.
Well, I did lots of structures. I think that's probably a good way to put together. It's kind of difficult, obviously, not having them here to kind of talk about these things. But I had a real belief that materials were more than just. So if you were wearing, let's take tights. If you, as a woman, were wearing tights on your body, that something of you somehow would become imbued in that material. And I don't physically mean your skin cells or your scabs or whatever it is you have on you, but just actually an essence of you. It sounds all a bit hippie, doesn't it, really?
No.
But the same with lipstick. Like, I'm really fascinated by lipstick. This colour that we put on our face and makeup, that, it's on us. It's actually in us. We digest a lot of it, and we use it to message. And I was just really interested. So if you take those signals, these tights, this lipstick, this makeup, but you subvert its use and make it into paintings. So there was a painting I remember showing you of a woman's face, but it was made out of it was made of that woman, but it was made of her makeup, of her, which sounds. Instead of using paint, I used her makeup to recreate her. So it was She Remade, it was called. And it was just taking that image of that individual, but making it out of what she had made to present to the world and using that as a material.
So it was like a 2-dimensional image, but it was 3-dimensional really, because you had all the other senses.
Yeah.
Because it was it'd been used on that person's skin.
Yeah. And this brings me to sort of like the multi-layeredness of art. And I was thinking about our conversation to be honest, about 10 minutes before you arrived to pick me up. But I thought, how can I show you what I mean? And look, I have here a Russian doll. Now, I really love Russian dolls. I think they're really interesting concepts that someone went, oh yes, women. Well, they have women inside them, and then they have women inside that. And I know you've been learning about epigenetics recently.
Yes.
And so there's this really weird concept that when you're born, you've got your grandchildren inside you. You've heard of that.
Yes.
And I always think that Russian dolls are a bit like that, aren't they, really?
I bought you that Russian doll, by the way.
Yes,
I did. That's the one I got you from Bulgaria.
And this is interesting because it's actually covered. You can't see this very clearly, but it's actually covered in loads of paint because it sits on my desk and it gets imbued with loads of things that I do. But for me, this is kind of representation. And in fact, you played in... Sorry, you were my muse, weren't you? Yes. I actually once put Emma inside a 6-foot Russian doll that I'd made and took videos of her, and she became a representation of her.
Excuse me, camera on me.
Yeah.
I'm a really good friend.
Yeah.
No, I was very honoured to be asked.
Yes,
I was very,
and
very honoured.
that piece worked very, very well, actually. But this is a good representation of what I think about art, in that art is multi-layered. So art is many things, and you expect and you think about art. When you look at art, you go, okay, oh, actually, I understand that the material that person has used has some resonance of other things, and I understand that there's concepts. But the thing about art, and I'm going to show this to Em now, the thing about art that makes it really great art is when it's unexpected. And inside, let's pull it. You see, and so sometimes art, and I'd like you to smell that, Em, and describe what that smells like.
Oh my God, what is that? I know what it is. I can't. What is it?
Well, it's an essential oil. It's a blend of oils.
Lemongrass.
It is like a lemon.
Yeah.
A lemon. Well, I think it's actually one of the kind of lemony
It's a lovely
essential oils.
smell. I love that.
But the thing about art is, you think you know what it is. You think there's another layer. You think there's another layer, and then what comes out is a funny little tights thing that smells funny. And and for me, that's what good art is about. There's got so many layers, and actually, then at the end, there's this unexpected surprise, and it has a different sensation that you'd never considered. And for me, that's what makes art so special and so important in life, because life can be very predictable. We often go through routines, don't we?
Yeah. So, you know, my podcast series is what I call 360 health. And that means everything we consume has an effect on our health. So if anything we eat, any environment we're in, anything we look at, people that we hang out with, stuff that we put on our skin, whatever, every single thing everything that we consume has an effect on our health. How do you think art can improve or not improve, do the opposite, people's health? What's your take on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, there are different things. People, obviously, art is different things to different people. I think the title of art is very, it's a bit abstract noun, isn't it? So it's a bit like love or happiness. It's not one thing.
No, so it's not a painting in a gallery.
No.
It is that, but it's also somebody doing some chalk on a road.
Or it's someone having an incredible conceptual conversation. I sometimes think, some of the most beautiful art is actually not a physical thing. Some of the most beautiful art is thinking or communicating or understanding, and so often people categorize art as just aesthetics. Or something aesthetically beautiful to put on your wall. I think art is a far broader thing than that. And I walk around the galleries often. So I often go up to the Tate Modern or the Hayward or whatever, and I look at the work there, and it brings me such enormous happiness just looking at art. And I think that's really such a kind of calm thing to do. So we often talk these days about being present, about all meditation and all of those sort of things where you are really, really in the moment. And when you're looking at art, you are absolutely in that moment. I really think it's a similar kind of experience for me. It may be different for other people, but for me, experiencing art, thinking about it, thinking about what was that artist trying to tell me, why did they create that? How was that created? Why is it here? Who are the other people looking at this and what do they think about it? All those questions, it just really brings you into the now and to be just experiencing that art.
And also it brings people together.
Yeah.
So if you think music, dance, looking at art, watching a film, all of those things, like you say, having a conversation, that's all art, isn't it?
It is. Well, the arts, people some say, or art and the arts.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really differentiate. I think sometimes it's, as I said, it's such an abstract concept, art, that it's very difficult to kind of say. I mean, if people get great joy from creating things, which, if you think about kids when they're starting out and you give them a crayon and you give them a bit of paper, they immediately start to create. It's so in us. And I know as human beings, some people feel they get quite distant from making art, but actually quite often they're making art in different ways. They're making beautiful cookery dishes and their creativity is coming out in the way that they put their clothes together in the morning or the way that they interact with their children can be, helping them to be artistic, even though they're not doing it themselves. So I think art is so broad and so intrinsic to the kind of nature of humanity that I can't imagine life without it, and I think a lot of people don't even realise they're doing art, as it were.
So for people that are listening, right, so say you were Dr. Billie of Arts and you were going to prescribe to somebody or somebody that's perhaps listening or somebody that you see to do some form of art. a specific thing that we would regard as art, what would you say?
Well, I'm a big fan of drawing, if I'm honest. And this is only my personal kind of go-to. So on a daily basis, I will draw something. And there's something about that. I mean, we all these days talk about gut-brain connection. I think there is a hand-brain connection thing that needs warming up. So quite often in the mornings, I will just think about art, and I'll just be making marks, not really making anything in particular. In fact, usually trying not to make anything, trying not to make it look like anything, just trying to connect my hand with my brain. And then you kind of feel after a while you've warmed up and your brain is really connected to your hand, and you can just think things and your hand does it. And so therefore I will just draw random things and just let my brain do it. You know, it's almost like I just go, I just not think about anything in particular, just let it happen. And then your more conscious brain steps in and goes, oh, actually there's an idea there. Well, look at that. That looks like that. And I think I'll change that into that. And then you progress that, and then you can move to the next page and go, oh, yeah, that was actually quite good. I quite like that image. I'll do that here. And it's kind of like a very gentle, meditative kind of physical action. But often from that, I'll then leave that drawing behind and then come back to it later and think, oh, actually now more conscious brain is engaged, and now I'll take some of those subconscious things and develop them and bring in the layers that we were talking about earlier, bring in the unexpected, bring in the other sensations like smell, like there are lots of other senses apart from sight that I think should be involved in art, and I usually then start thinking about them later. So coming back to your question, which I've gone completely off piece, if I was going to suggest to people how could they like get into art to help with their mental well-being, I would suggest, you know, maybe go to a beach, maybe find things that are inspired. I actually brought a few things with me that I think, you know, you can just like, I was on Worthing Beach, and I don't know whether you can see these. These are hagstones. They're called hagstones. They're absolutely brilliant things. There are loads of them on Worthing Beach. I don't think I've ever seen so many on a beach. And the fairy tale is, I don't know whether it's Manx or whether it's all the way across the UK, is that if you look through a hagstone, which is a pebble with a hole in it, you can see into fairyland. Oh. So that's the plan. So I'm looking at you right now, Em. You have a bash.
Wait a minute. I'm just going to look.
Yeah. Oh, there she is.
I can see a fairy.
Yes, there she's a big old fairy. But, so
lovely.
Yeah, I mean, I've often thought about making these into glasses. You know, making some glasses
really
so you can walk around all the time looking for fairies without actually having to hold a rock up.
I think,
so you could just slot these into some little frames and off you go. You could see into fairyland.
You've got to do that now.
So now that's going to have to be a piece of work, isn't it?
100%. When I was doing a little bit of research about what I was going to talk to you today, I was looking up the first ever art, which is about 45,000 years ago in the caves.
Well, that is very interesting that you bring up that point, Emma.
And
how did they know that was the first
art?
Well,
exactly. Right, exactly.
Yes.
And then it got on to talking about body art. Mm-hmm. So I can't remember what source material they used to put on body art, but obviously I know that you have a lot of body art.
I do indeed.
And so can you explain to us about your tattoos? You have many.
Yes. Well, part of the reason I have many tattoos is because one of my best mates is a tattooist. So Neil Bass, thank you very much. And he's a genius tattooist as well. I actually have these tattoos. I was making fun of myself there, but I actually have these tattoos all for very specific reasons. Mm-hmm. So I like the idea, as I know lots of teenagers also like the idea, of taking a space, in this case, the space is my body, and personalising it. Mm-hmm. Now, that sounds a bit weird because obviously my body is my body, so it's pretty personal. But I like the idea of visually personalising it. So when you get people who want to, I always think this about when people go out and tag, they're kind of like personalising in their environment, aren't they? They're kind of, doing graffiti, they're personalising their environment. Teenagers, they take their room and they want to paint it black, or they want to like put loads of posters up. You're making your space, your environment, yours. You're making your mark. And that's how I see my tattoos. So, for example, when I had the one on my wrist done, it is the eye of my daughter when she was born. When I had my back done, I was diagnosed with something and I just wanted to reclaim my body and make it mine again. When I had my feet done, that was about the Isle of Man and missing the Isle of Man and wanting to bring the Isle of Man permanently on my body. So I had some work by a very famous Manx artist called Archibald Knox, who everybody should look up because, quite frankly, is brilliant.
Okay.
And I've got 2 Archibald Knox tattoos on my feet. So every one of them, when I married Martin, I got a sleeve done that is about the marriage that we had and the vows that we made, which were love, truth, beauty. And so they're the bohemian values. So I have them tattooed on me, along with a tree, as you do, because we planted a tree at our wedding. But so the tattoos are all very personal, but they're all about, for me, personalising my body.
This episode of Practicing Human 360 Health is sponsored by my wellness clinic, Star Treatment, in Henfield in Sussex. I offer IV vitamin drips, B12 shots and advanced facials, all designed to make you feel and look your absolute best. Check me out on Instagram, StarTreatment24. The other thing that I want to talk to you about briefly...
Where are you going?
Well, I want to talk about you've been poorly.
Oh.
So I want to talk briefly about it, and I want to talk to you in connection with how art helped you.
Yeah.
Helped you with the recovery of that in some small way. Or a large way, maybe.
No, well, art gives me, I mean, apart from obviously my family and friends, you were there beside me the whole way. I was diagnosed with cancer in 2022. I had a mastectomy, which I find is really great for art because now I've got a whole new, really rich vein of one-boobed art to do. And especially as all the Amazon warriors, they all had one boob. Supposedly, or did they? But and also it makes me a really good archery person. There
you go.
Yeah, I know. There's always a plus point. So I've forgotten the question.
How art helped you?
Oh yes, of course.
Your health.
Well, as I was saying, apart from my family and lovely friends, I really got through it because of art. Wanting to make art, wanting to create things, wanting to show things in galleries, wanting to talk to people about art is kind of my raison d'etre. So I wanted to do that so much. When you're sitting there and you've had chemotherapy and you're feeling pretty rubbish, actually I would sit in my chemo chair and I would think about making pieces of work. I would think about art. I would think about what I was going to do. And even though I may at the time have been a bit too poorly to make some of the things or do some of the performance art that I do, I couldn't not do that. I couldn't think of a future where I wouldn't make art. And even though it wasn't actually making art, the thought of making art got me through. And
so do you think that art for you, because obviously it's going to be different for everyone, do you think art's the medicine, or do you think you create the medicine? Or is it flowing both ways?
I think it's both. I think it's all. I don't see art as something separate to me. So it is kind of... And I remember talking to a really lovely friend of mine called Jake, who's an artist, and he said, I don't have a choice. It annoys me. I don't really have a choice. I have to make art. And that's kind of the way I feel too. It is something that even if I wanted to, I couldn't stop it. It's just like a big bleh.
Is there... I know the answer to this question, but is there a place that people can look you up and see your art and connect with you in some way?
Yeah, I mean, I've got an Instagram account.
Yeah, so Paul will put that at the bottom.
Yeah, and there's some of my work is there. I have a website that some of the work is on, but actually I'm quite often, I will show in places like the Fisherman's Gallery in Brighton, and that's probably the best places. Insta's probably the best place to see some of my work.
Do you do any commissioned artwork?
I have done.
Is it something you're interested in doing or not really?
Yeah, I mean, it depends really, because I think, and I have no axe to grind one way or the other. I tend to do things that really do it for my brain.
Yeah.
That's, and if someone else likes the stuff that I've done or wants something similar, I'm right on for that. I'm not on for potentially someone saying, Bill, can you paint me some roses? And I'd like it to match my curtains. Yeah. I'm like,
no.
Probably.
So
life's too short,
You need to feel inspired by something in order to
absolutely.
create.
I need to feel true to myself. I need to stay to my art compass that's inside. I have no issue if anyone wants to do loads of pet portraits or, that if that makes them happy, fill your boots. That's fantastic. For me, I think also the cancer probably makes me think a little bit like this.
Yeah.
Life is really precious. Yeah. Every second is important. Life is too short. I kind of, if I just feel like there's too much to do in the life I've got for me to spend, 20 hours putting into a portrait of a corgi. Nothing against corgis, but life's too short. Look, do stuff you love.
So we spoke in one of our fantastically beautiful conversations, and you told me about the art of sound, where there's a frequency or something and people draw with the frequency. We spoke about it ages ago.
Yes, I've got menopause, love. I can't remember that. We're speaking about loads of shit. I'd probably just seen that on the internet and was just talking bollocks. It's there's loads of automatic drawing and things like that maybe I was speaking about at the time. That I think it's really fascinating when people just, there was a whole movement at one point where people would just let what happens come out of their pen or pencil, for me, sound is a fabulous. I love music. I'm a bit of a muso, but the what really interests me is smell. Smell, oh my word. I love the fact that smell is anarchic. So,
it can take you somewhere, can't it?
Well, I'd just like to say, if there's a painting up on that wall and I don't want to look at it, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to shut my eyes, or I can just not interact with it. However, if that is a smelly painting, I can't shut my nose and not breathe. I'm going to have to take that painting in. I love the fact that smell will go where it wants to go. Smell will, affect you. You have to breathe.
Sorry. I'm just thinking about being in the back of a taxi, and you can taste the BO.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, I thought you were going to go all playground fart on me. That's where I thought you were going with that.
I immediately went to the back of a taxi with the driver. Like that. You're like, whoa, don't lift your arms up. Don't do it. Oh!
I love that smell also can bring you back to a memory. Somehow, I actually wrote about this a little bit. In your brain, smell is one of the most ancient things that we had. So when we were little amoebas swimming about and we were very kind of binary, we needed to know, was that thing in front of us, was that food or is that poison? That's kind of a really basic thing for humans, and a really old part of our brain. I think it's called the amygdala. And loads of people are going to write in now and say, it's not the amygdala, it's something else.
No, but anyway, they'll text in, Billy. They're not writing anymore. We're not on the back of a postcard anymore.
I'm so ancient.
Come on,
what can I say?
Shop.
Get with the digital age, Bill. Anyway, so we were little amoebas and we're swimming around and we go, I don't know, that looks really tasty. But it could be poison. I need to smell it. I need to know what that is, because I'll smell it if it's off and I'll smell it if it's good food. So just think about, when we approach, life, quite often unconsciously we're smelling things all the time. Does that person smell really good? Oh yeah, I love him. He's a bit tasty smelling. Or, is that food nice? Is that food off? Is that, oh God, that smells really rank in the back of that cab. I'm not going to go anywhere near it. So it's a really fundamental thing, and we really react at a very fundamental level. And we associate smells with memories. And because memories are in the same sort of area of the brain. And so they really connect. And so sometimes you'll be sitting there and you'll get a waft of someone's perfume and you think, oh, my Aunt Gladys. Oh, how marvellous. I remember that time she gave me angel cake. That was fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And so smells are really fundamental. And I think in art, that's something people, well-being in smells and well-being in art, I think there's something really about that. And I do sound like a bit of a when-I, but anyway, I made this bit of art and that was basically what looked like a black ink bottomless bowl. So you couldn't see the bottom of it. All you could see that there was a liquid, an oily liquid in there. And what I did was... maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but anyway.
I think I know what you're going to say. I think I remember this one.
I put loads of bits of me in it. So anyway, I had this oil. I took things like my hair, and I took things like I put a tear in it, and I got something smelly, and I made myself cry, and then it was an onion, and I put the tear in there, and I took some skin cells. I took some. Won't be named otherly bodily fluids.
Yeah. All right.
Sweat, etc.
This stuff.
Yes, that stuff. Anyway, lots of stuff from lots of areas on this human being. And I put them in the oil and then I let the smell be the smell of all of me in this. And then I put it in a gallery and then I told people about it. Now, what I might have done is I might have gone round people and like laboured the point that there was lots of bits of a human being in there and then I would ask them to smell it. And it was really interesting.
Because everyone immediately thinks, poo.
Yeah, exactly. Immediately people's brains are going, that woman has put her vag juice in an oil and put it in a gallery. Oh my God. And now I'm going to have to go up and give it a good old sniff. Whoa. Right. I actually didn't put much of anything horrible in there. I put no poo in. I was a good artist. Let's be clear. No poo was made available in this art piece. And anyway, so and I would invite people by the hand and lead them to this thing. And honestly, that you, what was really interesting was women are much more kind of, all right then, yeah, let's give it a go. And they'd be like, giving it a good old sniff, and they'd be like, oh, it actually smells quite nice. There's a reason for that because I also put my perfumes that I wear, so things like my deodorant and my opium. Exactly, I always wear opium, and I would put that in there as well. So it actually overall, even though it had quite a lot of other biological substances in there, it overall smelled like perfume.
Can I just ask, right? Because I remember coming to this, and I seem to remember your mum was there.
Oh yes.
What did your mum? When you explained that to your mum, what was your mum's reaction?
Well, to be honest,
darling.
Oh dear, darling. She said, "Oh, what have you done now, darling? Oh, my poor long-suffering mum." Dead now, unfortunately, but bless her. And she would just go, "Oh, darling, really, what have you done now?" And I dragged her over and I said, "Here, have a whiff of your daughter." And she was like, "I don't think so." And she was the only person that turned me down, my own mother. And she refused to smell me, but there you go. And she walked off. And but what was really funny was I won't name him, but I led this bloke who was one of my professors at the time. I led him up to the thing and said, "So, are you going to partake?" The piece was called Cassolette, but Cassolette is a French name and it means all the things that make up a woman. So there's an actual French word for this, and it means a woman's perfume, a woman's kind of sweat, a woman's. It's actually it's got quite sexy overtones that it's just all of a woman's delicious sensual smells. So I called the piece that, and then obviously put things in it that people didn't want to smell. But I took this professor up to it, led him by the hand, and he literally was leaning back like this, and I was physically pulling him over this like oily thing, and he kind of went and like smelled it like it was going to be and he was like, oh. And he went back in for seconds, had a bit more, and went and went back for thirds. Yeah, so at the end of the day, it just shows that you can like put a load of crap in a bit of oil and people will accept it as art.
And they'll do it.
But part for me with art, it's not just the object. It's actually, like I was saying about the postman with the door, and like I was saying about the people and interacting with them, and like I was saying about some of the online campaigns getting people's tights. For me, bringing people into the art as part of the art, and quite often I'll write up what happened afterwards. That's part of it. You know, it's a 360 experience. It's not just a thing you put on your wall. It's, you know.
Well, I always really liked that piece that you did with your mum and Tallulah.
Oh, yeah.
Which you filmed the three of you, and it's a really interesting sequence because you have one standing up and moving away, and you know, in different sequencing, don't you? And I thought that was, and there was no sound to it, was there?
No,
there wasn't any sound. It was in silence, wasn't it?
It was called Tides,
yeah,
and it was about the tides that women go through in their lives. So. My daughter and my mother and me in the middle, and we all had these small roses that were like handmade roses. They weren't real roses, and they were kind of a representation of when you're having your periods. So my daughter and I, with my mum without one when she went into menopause, and it was just looking at this, the tide, the ebb and the flow, the constant cycles that as women we go through, and how through the generations, you know, we come into life, we come into kind of being fertile, we exit being fertile, we exit life, and new life comes in. And that's that tidal kind of cycle that we are constantly operating in. I was very fascinated by that at the time because I'd just begun going into the menopause. And for me, it was like a new exploratory stage that I was moving into. They used to describe it as moving into the crone stage, which I was like, oh, cheers, guy.
Pretty, have an apple.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was but actually, I've now come to recognise that the crone stage, it brings so much release and freedom, and you don't have to worry about sort of breeding or, you know, you can be more free. And I was actually reading about this the other day with regard to an artist called Louise Bourgeois. She did that big spider kind of sculpture about her mother. And she very clearly said, I come to freedom in my artist expression. You know, I've come now. I'm now not having to look after a family. I'm now not having to look after my parents. I'm now free of the burden of having to breed and to a certain extent to having to kind of be attractive and look attractive to encourage breeding behaviour, if you like, looking at it from a kind of a zoology point of view. But and it gave her great freedom that she didn't have to be anything.
Do you know, I think there is a freedom attached because my clients that come in, obviously they're about our sort of age, and we're all sort of, you know, that's majority of my clients, and there is that sense of freedom. It's not a feeling of loss. Whereas I think maybe a generation ago, it felt like a loss because you were no longer useful in some way. Yeah. But that's a load of bollocks. Because actually, you've got all of this time. You've got another phase.
Yeah,
you've got another time to do more stuff.
Yeah.
And change and evolve and explore all different areas of all different sorts of things. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't read at all. I saw on a mini TED Talk clip on Reels. Yeah, because that's deep.
I do all the time like that.
All TikTok. All Reels. Yeah. Anyway, but I saw this really interesting professor, and he was talking about the longevity of women and the longevity of men, and how there's only 3 species that go through the menopause. So that's elephants. Elephants. I think orcas and us. And he's like, well, why would evolution come up with menopause? Why are women being allowed? Because surely women are here from an evolutionary point of view, obviously not from any other kind of to breed. So if they can't breed anymore, why are they still here? Why do they, on average, have 10 years longer than men? You know, why? What is evolution doing there? Why are women living longer? And this has been the case always, even though we used to live a lot less. And he said, in his view, what was happening was women have value in this last portion of their life. They have wisdom, they have experience, and they're educational. So they are educating the young, and that is of value to. But then I was like, so why men surely can educate, but somehow, and I don't know why, and I wouldn't say that this is negative from me towards men, but why, the wisdom of the Crones is obviously valued by evolution, and I think that's incredible. And
that's the whole book there, Bill.
There is
The Wisdom of the Crones.
There's me PhD.
That's yours, that is. That's it.
PhD.
The Wisdom of the Crones.
I might do it,
We got it.
But coming back to menopause,
Oh.
I've got a small gift for the lovely hostess.
Was ist das?
So I recently made these small pills of femininity. So it's a small. I don't know whether you can see that, but it's basically a small pill. It's made of all things that make you feminine or make femininity or give you femininity. So if you take this pill, I cannot be held responsible for what will happen. I really cannot. I cannot be. They're all different shades. So they're all different shades. Here we have one called Cherry Popped Red. Oh. Okay. And then there's Finger Me Pink. Okay. And then what else have we got here today? Oh, yes. This one, I think you might be drawn to that one, so I'll save it to last. This one's called Hot Flush Blush.
Oh.
Guaranteed to cure all hot flushes. But this one, Sore Pussy Blues.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Let me have a look at this
That's a little
one.
gift for you. I cannot be held responsible. I have no disclaimer.
So if I take this pill
Yeah.
in case of emergency,
Yeah.
so I break the glass
Yeah.
just in case
Of Sore Pussy
of
Blues.
sore pussy.
Yeah, guaranteed.
That's sore pussy rouge.
Oh, rouge.
Rouge.
Okay, rouge, yes.
So
okay.
it's a bit red,
It's
bit sore.
a bit red, a bit sore.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. If you take that pill, you will be immediately juicy. Like juicy forever, it'll be fixed.
I love it. Okay, all right then.
Okay, that's...
Just a little one for Grant. I'll take it later.
I just thought I'd bring it in for you, my lovely.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome.
Thank you. I love your art. I've got some really beautiful bits of art that you've made for me over the years.
Oh, yes, I've made you quite a few bits, haven't I? Yeah.
There was an Memoir.
Oh, yes.
Memoir.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I love very, very much. We've got to the part of the show, Bill, where it's the final bit now. Okay. And I do this game, and I used to play this game. You know it because I've told you about it many, many times. But for those people that are listening, our mums, or your mum can't listen. My mum won't listen. So basically,
no one's listening.
Paul,
the
producer, and maybe Grant,
Yeah.
So I used to play this game. I used to pick up the kids from school, and whoever was, living down the lane, back of the car, you'd say, "What have you done today?" Don't know. Can't remember.
Yeah.
And you get nothing out of them, do you?
Fine, it was all right, fine. Yeah.
So I devised this little scheme where I'd ask them one good thing, one bad thing, one funny thing. The funny thing came because Eliza added that, actually, so I can't take, that's hers.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, with relevance to your entire life.
Oh, my God.
Right? So it can be
Very long.
absolutely anything. I want one good thing, one bad thing, and one funny thing, please, my love.
God, why didn't I prepare for this?
Because these are the best ones. So the first thing that springs to mind, one good thing.
One good thing. The just immediate thing that comes to mind is the birth of Tallulah. Oh, bless her.
That's really gorgeous.
Oh, yeah. She's just an absolute adorable soul.
She is.
Absolutely beautiful. And that's probably really common that people say that. And I don't mean it tritely. I never thought I'd have kids. I'm just way too mental to have kids. And and it never was on my radar. And then bang, I'm up the duff, and there's a small thing relying on me. I was like, oh my God. But I remember my friend Posey and I, we took this small fragile baby that I'd brought home from the hospital, and we went, how'd you clean it? And it had this thing on it, the umbilical.
That's
oh,
a bit
that's it's not nice, is it?
I know, it'd be like, I don't want to look at that. Don't want to look at that.
I said, and me and Posey didn't have kids at the time, and I said, I don't know how to clean it. What do I do? Put it in the shower? Does it have a shower? And then we put Tallulah down in the bath, and I went, I just really don't know what to do. So we did shower, and we just showered her, and she screamed the place down. She was not happy, and I said, I really don't think that's right. It's like,
but you know, when I remember when I was coming home with Tabby, you know, when you're in the hospital bed, and the nurse says, "Okay, you're signed off now. You can go." Yeah. And I remember going, thinking, "You're going to let me take this tiny little baby home? Are you sure about
another
this?"
person? Yeah.
And I was really, I just couldn't get over it. So I know exactly what you mean. I was clueless.
Absolutely clueless. And bizarrely, I remember I kind of was in the hospital, and then suddenly blink and you're out. Yeah. And I thought, surely they have to give me lessons for at least a couple of weeks. Surely there has to be how to manage a baby booklets and things like that. No, it was just off you go with a small child and try and Martin had 3 children before. My lovely, lovely stepkids who I adore. And I would say to him, "So Martin, what happens now? What do we do?" And he'd go, "Well, I don't know, that happens between, 0 and 4.
I know.
And that was the stock answer as far as Martin was concerned. So he was of no bloody help whatsoever.
Yeah, well, Martin. Well done, Tallulah. You made it.
Yes, that's my good thing.
Bad thing.
Cancer. Oh, fuck cancer, honestly.
Yeah. Fuck cancer.
That's what we all say, fuck cancer. I mean, it was a real shocker because I was quite a healthy person. I have been a spinning instructor in the past, and really into my fitness. Eat really healthily. Yeah, I'm not really a drinker. And God, I sound boring. But we
won't get into the sex, drugs, and rock and roll. No, we won't do that one.
Let's not do that. That's another episode. It just came completely out. That it was one of those. I went into Tesco's, had a scan, thought nothing of it because everyone just has a scan, a mammogram thing. And then there was a letter said, "Oh yeah, come in. We've probably just made a photo error or something." And then within 5 minutes of being in the building, a man was going, "Actually, this looks like cancer." And to be told that when you're completely not expecting it, and I am not someone who dwells on things, I was just like, it was something that was like being hit by a bus. So yeah, not to bring everyone down, but that was a pretty rough day. And here I am, 3 years, I'm still here, and yay! And I finished my chemotherapy in May, and I'm just... I'm going to take every last second that, God gives me to be on this earth and make art and do stuff, Good. So in some ways it's the worst thing. In other ways, it's a completely brilliant thing because it makes me grasp every moment. Yeah.
100%. What's your funny thing?
My funny thing? One of the funniest things in my life was with you. And we have had so many funny times because, quite frankly, I'm sure you all have realised now that Emma is fucking hilarious. I can't remember which one of us, but we'd seen this thing on a on a cartoon about shagging. Actually, one of our favourite shelf.
I didn't know you were going to go. She wants to all. Like, no, but we're going for something completely different.
And it was about the posh people fucking. So it was basically. She's remembered now. So there was a cartoon, and it was just a posh couple fucking, and one of us was relating it to the other, and we became. It was basically about this man on top of this posh woman and in the cartoon, and he was just going, nearly there, oh, almost, nearly there, oh yes, done. And it was just, it's nothing, and I've probably just told that wrong, but it was just, we lost control of our sense of reality, our bladders, we were rolling on the floor, and it genuinely, I don't know, somehow in life sometimes these things, they just tickle you, don't you?
I know.
And that
so we do often text each other or say to each other, nearly there.
It's remained in our friendship for probably 10 years. This completely stupid, chaotic, surreal moment of relating a cartoon to each other about two posh people fucking. Yes, it was funny.
I love that one. Nearly there.
Nearly there, darling.
We're nearly there, Paul. So I just want to say what a fantastic day it was that I met you 20 years ago.
Yeah.
At the nursery, Erskine Nursery, with our little girls. And I'm absolutely blessed to call you my friend.
Yeah, likewise, mate, likewise.
I love you from the bottom of my heart.
Oh, it's absolutely two-way. So, everyone's just going to cry. It's getting so emotional.
You do.
Oh, bless you, darling. I can't come over there because there's a microphone preventing me.
No,
yes.
I really do.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. God. Thank you very much for listening or watching. Oh God, I won't be crying next time. I'll try not to anyway. Bill's never allowed back in here. Thank you very, very much, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
Bye
Lots of love.
Bye.
Bye.